checking my mouth to make sure that it's not covered in chocolate. I think we're good. I think we're good. We are talking today on this week's Sales Supercharge about how millionaires plan. So how do you plan like a millionaire? And this is, I think, is going to be a really, really fun conversation. And welcome, Marcia. Welcome, Sierra. I literally just hopped off a call with our 50K Club group program, and these women in there are just crushing it, and they're all going for 50K months or more. And it was so fun just to see, like, I actually, some of we're hopping in now. Hey, Holly, I love it. I love it. Just to see how these women are stepping into a greater level of abundance, a greater level of allowing, we had a woman in there make more money in a month than she had made in a year previously in her business, women getting opportunities, like dream opportunities that they didn't even think were possible for them. And I thought about, like, I know for me in my own journey around specifically financial up level, like there were a lot of mindset shifts I had to make. And as we start to bring more into our lives and more flow into our lives, we have to up level how we see ourselves. We have to up level how we relate to money, how we relate to other people. And so today I want to talk specifically about, like, if you're on that journey, and here's what I want to know for those of you who are here live, like, who in here is on that journey of wanting to become a millionaire? And there's so many different definitions of millionaire too. This is what I've learned over the years. Everyone defines it a little bit differently, but like, who is on the journey of wanting to either hit 7 figures, have $1 million in the bank? Like, I want to know, because it is a different mindset and it's a different energetic than what will get you to 6 figures for sure. Adri, so good to see you. And so I studied with millionaires for a really long time before I went on that journey myself of hitting 7 figures. And I'll say, like, I don't think that there's one right or perfect way to do this, but I'm going to just share from my own experience. There's 3 specific areas that I have really up-leveled how I plan, how I think about my finances, how I think about my time, even, that I think specifically have contributed to big financial up levels, and also that I've learned from some other really, really exceptional people too. So let me know too, as we go in the comments, if you're here live, like, what are your questions on this? I'm so excited for those of you who are here live. I want to answer your questions. I'm here to coach you. So there's 3 key areas with money, calendar, and team that we're going to be talking about. How do most millionaires plan? The first thing, let's talk about money. Let's talk about relationship with money. I remember when I decided that hitting 7 figures was a non-negotiable for me. And I was working with a mentor, and she was like, Elise, how often do you check your bank accounts? Now, at that time, hopefully we're okay on Instagram. There we go. So at that time, when she asked me that question, I was honestly still living in some financial avoidance. And if you're not familiar with what that is, yay. If you are familiar with what that is, it looks like being scared to check your accounts. It looks like being in fear that there's not going to be enough money in the bank, yada, yada. So I was living that life. But she was like, Elise, millionaires check they are in there every single day, spending time with their money. And so that was really a shift for me. And it took getting uncomfortable for a period of time, because I had maybe been, I don't know, like once a week, once a month, like spending time with my money, and then living in some fear outside of that there wasn't going to be enough, or it felt uncomfortable to look. Hey, Charity, so good to see you. And so that was a big shift. And the one thing I would say is, like, if you do have a desire to scale to 7 figures or beyond, if you do have a desire to become a millionaire, you've got to get in relationship with your money. It's a really important relationship. And if you are in any amount of financial avoidance right now, like, first of all, zero shame, because I remember what that was like. I remember, like, feeling uncomfortable and feeling scared to look at things. I totally get it. But what I will say is literally just being like, you know what? I'm going to do whatever it takes to get out of this pattern because I'm not up for living this way anymore. You're welcome, Judy. I'm so glad that spoke to you. And it was like a couple days of kind of like pushing through the discomfort of checking accounts and like just seeing where everything was. And then it actually felt really easy. So it's kind of like anything else. It's kind of like ripping off the Band-Aid. But getting in relationship with it, you got to think about it like any other relationship. Like if you wanted a relationship with a spouse, a loved one, a child, a friend to grow, and you avoided them all the time, like it's not going to grow, right? So it's the exact same thing. So we want to build relationship with it. We want to have time in there, but I also think the energetic of it is really important. So when I'm looking at my accounts now, and it's like the first thing I do, well, I do my morning routine. I shower, get ready, spend time with family. But then when I'm in work mode, the first thing I do, I literally have a morning ramp up checklist. I'm like, these are all the things I do every morning. It involves communicating with team. It involves, delegating certain things to team. But the first thing before any of that is I go in my bank accounts. Like I want to know what's going on. And it's just looking at everything holistically. But the energetic is knowing where you are. So remembering that your bank account today is old news. It is a reflection of who you were thinking, who you were being, what you were thinking, what you were doing in the past. So it's old news, but we still want to be in relationship with it, right? We still want to know what's going on. But it's the energetic of just knowing what's going on and simultaneously holding that vision for what you want it to look like. So every morning before, thank you for the heart. I'm glad that's resonating. Every morning before I'm actually into the more like dealing with the what so of my current reality, doing morning ramp up, I'm doing my morning meditation, like visualizing what I want, seeing the accounts as I want them. And sure enough, they keep going in that direction. And so we kind of strike this balance when we know what powerful creators we are of living in the vision and living into the vision while also being good stewards and being in relationship with what is right now so we can keep growing it and keep leading into it. So wherever the status is of your current financial situation, like bring that energy of gratitude to that. If you're like, and I want to know in the comments, like who in here is committed to like, yes, I'm going to start being in there every morning, checking my account, spending time with them. The energetic that's most powerful is one of gratitude, wherever it is. If you bring that energy of gratitude for, I don't care if it's $10, I don't care if it's $10 million. Thank you so much, money, for supporting me. And I'm so excited for us to keep growing together and then keep holding that vision for where you want it to go. And it will expand for you. But so that's the first thing, is just being in relationship with your finances and not freaking out if they're not where you want them to go. This is partly about like where you want them to be. We have to learn to loosen our grip a bit around this. I had a mentor once say this to me about money, and it was so powerful. She was like, what happens if you want to cook dinner and you need to use the broccoli in the refrigerator? What do? You go, you get the broccoli, you take it, you use it, and then what do? You go get some more later that week if you need some more for what you're cooking next. And it gets to be no different for us with money. Money is there to be used. Money is there to serve a purpose. Money wants to be used. It doesn't want to just sit there. When we assign it the purpose of making us feel safe or secure, we really kind of make it God. So the most powerful purpose we can give money is not to sit there and make us feel secure. It's to be used. So as you're looking at your finances and you have a vision or a goal for something you want to create, something you want to buy, someone you want to hire, and maybe the finances aren't there yet, it's like not going into freak out or not telling yourself you can't have it, but asking how could this happen? What could I do differently to bring in this next level flow into my life? And it's literally just that very chill energy around it, just as if you were going to go get some more broccoli to use for your dinner or whatever it is that you like to eat. So that's the first one with money. The second piece is around your calendar. And part of why I just feel like I'm bringing this like 50K club call energy into this live stream because we just got off this call and all of those women in there. One of the things I'm so proud of that they're all really leaning into is taking good care of themselves. And I'm curious if you're here, like, I want to know from you in the comments, does part of you hesitate to say you want more money or hesitate to say that you want to scale to that next level financially because you think it's going to be more work? Or it may feel so hard, like maybe you're working towards that 10K month and it feels so hard and it feels like so much pushing that the thought of doing that times 10 to get to seven figures feels exhausting. And I just want to like truly, truly know in the comments. And a lot of times this stuff can be subconscious too. We don't even realize that's what's holding us back from going for that next level. But oftentimes when I dig in deep with clients, I find that is. And here's what I would say is that number one, like scaling to your first six figures is the hardest. Like it really is. Scaling from there to seven, if you do it strategically, it's far easier. And because we make our own rules, because one of the things that I affirm in my life and has become my reality, and I have all the women and men in my programs too. I coach some men privately, affirm is like the better care I take of myself, the more money I make. The more I'm in joy and pleasure, the more money I make. When I'm on vacation, I'm making money. When I'm asleep, I'm making money. When I'm at the spa, I'm making money. Okay. And leaning into that, and give me a heart or a yes if that feels exciting to you. Maybe it challenges your belief systems. Thank you for the hearts. If you've got a belief that the only way you can make money is by literally sitting there sending DMs, sending emails, you will limit yourself to only making money when you're doing those activities, and it will feel like a slog. But that's part of why we work so hard. Thank you for the heart. That's part of why we work so hard on our mindset and on our belief system in my programs, because whatever you believe to be true for yourself will become true. So we want to learn to prioritize ourselves. We want to learn to prioritize our self-care. And whether that, like, one of the key disciplines that I started implementing, I don't know, a few years ago, but it makes a big difference is hi, beauty and health. So good to see you. Like literally at the beginning of the year, planning time, like carving out time for vacations before anything else gets on the calendar. And then carving out time for date nights with my husband, carving out time for Tuesday mommy and me day with my son. Carving out me time. Like I kind of this year decided to make Thursday night. It's like, that's Elise time. So whether it's going to the spa, whether it's getting a treatment, whether it's like doing whatever, just carving out that time, because you know that if you leave empty space on your calendar, it's going to get filled with something else. And you're going to find yourself, if you continually just allow things to pile on, you're going to feel exhausted, burnt out, depleted. And I can tell you right now, that is not the energy that you're going to become a millionaire from. It's not. So literally knowing that is a strategic move to prioritize your self-care, to prioritize feeling good. I will save this live. I'm so glad this is speaking to you. It is a strategic move that's going to help you earn more money. It is critical. So it's not, oh, Holly, love that night for me. Beautiful. Hey, Claire. Hey, Tamika. Oh, it's so good to see you. We're talking about millionaire planning habits. So, it's not that we're not working. It's not that we're not, doing the things that we need to. But what I find for the vast majority of members of this community, thank you so much for the hearts, is that you know how to work. You know how to work. You know how to put in the effort. And it literally can take discipline to say, I'm actually going to stop working to take care of myself. I'm going to stop working to take a bath, go for a walk, whatever. But I am here to tell you, if you start affirming that the way you make the most money is when you're in joy and when you're taking care of yourself and when you're feeling good, it will become your reality. And it makes sense because you actually have the energy to bring the things you want to do. I had a member on the 50K club call that we just wrapped. She was like, how do you plan your content and how much do you do in a day? Because I just finished up recording some new course content for the 10K club, which is for women who want to make six figures. And I shared, like, yesterday, I had most of the day mapped out for content. And I recorded it until it felt heavy. Like that was it. I recorded it until it felt heavy because I knew once it started feeling heavy, I wasn't going to bring my best energy. And I was probably going to need to re-record the whole thing anyway. So it made, this is like just such a good, beautiful rule of thumb. When it feels heavy, you put it down. Take and step into what would feel good right now, what feels light, what feels easy, what feels more enjoyable. Um, and then you have the energy to come back and do what you were going to do more powerfully. And it'll take you so much less time too. Let me pause and just read comments. Let's see here. Tamika is saying self-care is a priority. I know you're the queen of this. I love that. Beauty and health. Why is this so hard? It's conditioning, but you get to decide that it's not hard for you. And I promise, just like Claire underneath you said, when I started this, it really did work. You got to practice it and you'll realize like, this is how I scaled to 7. I literally took better care of myself. I literally had more joy. I really did the things that felt good. So if you have to borrow somebody else's belief first before you have it yourself, like borrow it. But I'm here to tell you, it works. Realizing this yesterday. Beautiful. Oh, Tamika, you're walking on your lunch break. Well, I'm so honored and excited to be with you on your lunch break. And I'm so glad that you're taking that break. Yes. And then the final, all of that to say, in terms of planning your calendar, money is not a thing if you're not also enjoying your life. And this was a real mindset shift for me because I spent many years thinking, when I make this amount of money, then I'll relax, then I'll stop, then I'll take a break. But here's what I can say. It's never enough. Like if that's your conditioning, if that's your paradigm, it's never enough. You'll make it and then you won't feel worthy of it. And you'll feel like you have to make more to be able to take a break. So it's a key decision that you enjoy the process and you enjoy the journey, and that you show up now as the person who is at that financial goal that you're creating for yourself, but that you desire and require the experience of it to be one of pleasure, to be one of joy. And you'll actually hit the goal faster in a far more powerful way as well. Big and small steps in implementing this strategy. That's a good question. I think, we've got, it's not like, this is not meant to be like a sales pitch. We've got a lot of the steps, pause due to poor connection. Okay. If you didn't hear it, it's not meant to be a sales pitch. We've got like for time today, we've got a lot of the steps in my program. So please feel free to send me a DM and I'm happy to connect and see if any of that would be of service to you. But beyond that, I think the little thing is like literally just learning when it feels heavy, put it down. When it feels light, you pick it back up. Like that is really one of the biggest things that makes a big shift, because we can all feel that immediately and we can make those moment by moment decisions about, is this starting to feel heavy? If so, if I need to, it doesn't have to be a long time. Maybe I need to step away for 3 to 5 minutes and breathe and get back in that place of excitement and vision about what I'm creating and then come back to it from there. So there's more to it, but for the time we have today, I'd say that's one of my favorite ones. And then in terms of planning for the people you're surrounding yourself with. So this could be team, this could be, we're going to talk specifically about team today, but this could be about, just environment and people in general. We were just talking about this on the call too. All of this is very fresh on my mind. Is for many of us, I don't know if you can relate to this, but this was certainly my story, is like, we are often okay with holding ourselves to a standard of excellence, but not others around us. And it's a big paradigm shift, especially with team, with contractors, with people you're hiring, to start to feel comfortable and confident holding them also to a standard of excellence, knowing that you can do it with love. But often I find, and again, this was my own journey, this is what sometimes comes up for clients, is like, we'll bring people in to help us with something and they don't show up the way that they said they were going to, or that we need them to for the project. And one of the best pieces of advice, I actually got it from someone I was having lunch with him last month at Joe Dispenza's conference down in Marco Island. And he's scaled, I think he's multi 7 figures. He's like scaling to 8 figures. And a lot of his focus is on team building and hiring. And he said, every quarter, he sits down and looks at his team and asks, would I rehire this person right now, knowing what I know now? Every single quarter. And I thought that is a really healthy way to make sure that you're continuously surrounding yourself with people who are at that level. Claire is saying this is a real struggle for me. I am so glad you shared that. What specifically, if you don't mind sharing in the comments, the struggle to hold other people to the same standard? Let me know in the comments if that's it. But literally looking at every 90 days, would I rehire this person? Would I work with this person again? And being okay if you wouldn't, being okay, either saying we need to make a shift in this relationship or this is no longer working for me, and being able to stand powerfully in that. And I know in my own life, the reason why I avoided that for many years was that the underlying fear was that I was going to be alone. And it was, well, if I, say this isn't working for me, or if I say, that I need to release this, the underlying fear was I'm going to be alone. But it's not actually true, because I want you to check in, like, how much do you appreciate a standard of excellence? How much do you want to work on a team with other people who hold themselves to a standard of excellence? I know if I was on a team where people were like sloppy and messing stuff up, I'd be like, ew, let me get out of here, right? So there's a lot that this is where we have to lean into. There's an abundance mentality. There's so many people out there who want to grow, they want to push themselves, they want to be surrounded by A players. And we get to know that those people are out there, and that any relationship where someone is not showing up in that way, and it's like you've hired them to do something for you, they're on your team, whatever, it requires reevaluation, and it requires thinking enough of yourself that you're willing to shift that. Let's see, Claire saying, hard for me to let people go to just have hard conversations. I avoid any conflict. This is so true, because I always want feedback, and that is where we grow. Yeah, it's, and Claire, I'm so appreciative that you shared that, because that was so much of my story and upbringing too. And it's something that I still get to work on. I do not enjoy conflict. Like, I'll say it that way. But I think there's also, it doesn't have to be conflict. And I think if we frame it that way, then it's going to feel hard. But the way that I have shifted some of this in my mind, one is a lot of inner child work, because it's our inner little child who is the one who doesn't want to upset people, be alone, be scared, yada, yada. And then really knowing that it's a disservice to not have people in roles where they're thriving. It's not helping them. It's not helping you. And being okay with having the conversations that are needed to make that shift, if necessary, that in the long run, is it possible that they won't like you in the short run? Absolutely. Is that really any of your business? No. And we have to be okay with not being liked, because we usually trade other people liking us for us liking us. And I don't know about you, but I care way more that I like myself than that other people like me, because I got to live with me all the time, Tamika's saying, I become friendly with people I work with, and I sometimes feel like I am being mean. Yeah. And I think it's just reevaluating, because I know you. I don't think you're ever being mean, knowing you. There's a difference, right, between being mean and being direct, or being supportive. So we get, especially, I know we've got a mixed audience here. I find, especially for us women, and for those of us who are women, it's like we haven't been taught how to do that as much, and how to have those direct conversations. So we get to lean into it. And that's part of why we do the inner child work, is to help our inner little girl feel safe in the process of having those conversations. Part of boundaries, 100%. Yes, yes, yes. Y'all, this was, I just said y'all, and brings out the seven comes out of the end. I really enjoyed this with you. I'll just do a quick recap, and I do have another meeting coming up momentarily, but we talked today about how to plan like a millionaire. So 3 key areas: your money, your calendar and your time, and your team. And I just want to encourage you, like, what is the one thing that you're going to take from this and implement? It makes my heart happy when I see your feedback, when I know that these are speaking to you. If you would be so kind as to let me know, send me a DM, what spoke to you most, what are you going to implement, or you can comment below on it too. I'm always so honored if this speaks to you, if you share it. I really, really appreciate that. And I'm really, really grateful for each of you being here. Christina, oh, you're so welcome. I'm so glad you are here. So sad I have to get off. You're the bestest, Claire. I love it. You're so welcome, Tamika. All right, everyone. So good to see you. I will see you next Monday. Have a great rest of your week. Bye-bye.